Hello, and welcome back to Energy Express. It's me, your friend Joel, and welcome again to Season 2. Are you all ready for some fun? What do you think we're gonna do this summer? Read some books? Learn some activities? Play some games? Yes, and yes. We're gonna do all of those things. But let's kick it off with a book. Let's head over to Mark Swiger, who's going to read The Good Egg.
Hello, I'm Mark Swiger, Director of Energy Express at WVU. I'm very happy to be kicking off this year's session with West Virginia Public Broadcasting tied to Energy Express, and I'm going to be reading today The Good Egg by Jury John and Pete Oswald. The Good Egg. Oh, hello. I was just rescuing this cat. Know why? Because I'm the good egg. A very good egg. It's true. I do all kinds of good things, like I'll carry your groceries. I'll water your plants. I'll change your tires. I'll paint your house. If you need any help whatsoever, I'm your egg. It's helpful everywhere. I've always been a good egg. I've been this way from the start, even in my earliest days. And there's a picture of a farmer's market. Back at the store, there were dozens of us living together under one recycled roof. There was Meg and Peg and Greg and Clegg and Shell and Shelley and Sheldon and Shelby and Egbert and Frank and other Frank. The other 11 eggs weren't on their best behavior. They weren't exactly good. They ignored their bedtime. They only ate sugary cereal. They threw tantrums. They cried for no reason. They broke their stuff on purpose. Meanwhile, I tried to take charge. I tried to fix their bad behavior. I tried to keep the peace because I was the good egg. A very good egg. Nobody seemed to care though. Every night I was exhausted. My head felt scrambled. Then one fateful morning, I noticed some cracks in my shell. It says, yikes, cracks in his shell. They were everywhere. My doctor said it was from all the pressure I was putting on myself. The pressure of making sure everybody was as good as me. I was cracking up, literally. Something had to change. I had had enough. I told Meg and Peg and Greg and Clegg and Shell and Shelley and Sheldon and Shelby and Egbert and Frank and other Frank I was leaving. I can't be the only good egg in a bad carton, I said. Blah, 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 they replied. I left that night. So he's leaving home. I wandered from town to town. The hours became days. The days became weeks. I lost track of time. I was alone. Out there on the road, under the stars, I really tried to focus on myself and what I needed. I took walks. I read books. I floated in the river. I wrote in my journal. I found simple moments to be quiet. I breathed in. I breathed out. I even started painting. For once, I found time for me. And guess what? Little by little, the cracks in my shell started to heal. My head no longer felt scrambled. I started to feel like myself again. He's happier. So I've made a big decision. I'm returning to my old carton and my friends. Besides, I'm kind of lonely out here. This time, I know what I need to do. I'll try not to worry so much. I'll be good to my fellow eggs while also being good to myself. Here we go, back to the farmer's market. Everybody missed me. I missed them too. Hello, Meg. Howdy, Peg. Hey, Greg. Greetings, Clegg. What's up, Shell? Aloha, Shelly. Hey ho, Sheldon. Hi, Shelby. Good day, Egbert. What's happening, Frank? How are you, the other Frank? Sure, every once in a while, somebody still is a little bad, but it's not like before. Here's what I realized. The other eggs weren't perfect. I don't have to be perfect either. I'm okay with that. Yep, the old carton is back together. We're a solid dozen again. It's good to be home. The end. Thank you for joining me in this story. We've got a lot more to go this summer.
Next up, we have another egg activity. Do you know where chickens come from? Do you know all about eggs? Do you want to learn how an egg turns into a chicken? Let's head over to see Tasha and Jessica and learn all about eggs.
Hey there, I'm Tasha Harris. I'm the Agricultural Natural Resource Agent in Upshur County.
I'm Jessica Streets, and I'm the Ag and Natural Resources Agent in Tucker County. And today we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about eggs and then some about peeps.
So with us, I brought a few of the peeps from the house, and I have lavender Orpingtons, which is these kind of grayish looking chickens. And then I also have a Jersey Giant. So a little thing about the Jersey Giant is that he or she can actually grow up to be about 11 pounds, which is about twice the size of what these little guys are going to grow up to be, which is about 6 pounds.
And then so both of these breeds of chickens are going to lay brown eggs. So as you can tell here in our carton, we have several different colors of eggs. And the color of the egg is based off of genetics or the breed of chick that you have. So these colorful eggs that we have here, they're kind of like a pastel green, come from the Americana chicken. And then we have some brown eggs, which are different shades, and that also depends on the breed. So at my house, we have some sex-linked chickens, we have some Rhode Island Reds, so that's why we have some different shades. And then you have some of your white eggs, which Leghorns are an example of a breed that lays a white egg.
Now with chickens, Jess said that you can tell the egg color by their breeds, but another fun way if you have a mixed breed chicken is by looking at their earlobes. And their earlobe color will tell you what color of egg that they will lay.
Yep, and then if you have a younger pullet, which is just a female chicken, once they start laying, you can tell if they're good egg layers because their beaks, around their ears, and their feet, they'll be a bright yellow before they start laying, and then they'll start to bleach out, so they'll get more of a waxy color or a lighter yellow once they start to lay.
So this contraption that we have here is called an incubator. And an incubator is a way to hatch out eggs, whether it's chicken eggs, duck eggs, guinea eggs, anything along those lines, and it mimics what the mother hen would do.
So it has to stay at a constant temperature and a constant humidity. So the humidity needs to be around 50 to 60% humidity in your incubator, and then the temperature needs to be around 95 to 100. So with this incubator, to monitor the humidity, it's super cool because it actually does a reading here and it self-pumps. So you keep a cup of water beside your incubator, and then you'll just put the tube in there. And so once it gets down below the level that it needs to be for the humidity, it'll start pumping the water in there to make sure that it's a constant humidity during the whole incubation process. And when you incubate chicken eggs, they're gonna be in there for 21 days. If you do duck eggs, it's 28 days. And then it varies with other varieties.
And so to place your eggs in the incubator, of course, you will want to get fertilized eggs. So that means you would either have to special order them online from a hatchery, or if you know a local farmer that has a rooster and some hens, you could try your luck with those. This does have the egg turner in it. You'll definitely want an egg turner in it, or you will be turning those eggs yourself several times a day.
And so when you place your eggs in, you're going to put the fat side up, which the fat side has the air cell. And then you're just going to lay them and line them up.
Now this incubator is a little bit different. Some of the egg turners actually have spots that you would just lay an egg into.
And then after you have your eggs in, you put your lid back on. And then in 21 days, you will have some chicks.
Now, if you wanted to, about halfway through the incubation process, you could candle your eggs. And candling is super easy. You can take a flashlight, some of the incubators come with a candler, or you could take your cell phone light. And the only thing you do is get in a dark room or put your egg into a dark box, put your light up to the egg, and if you see the chick inside that egg, or if you see any of the veins, then you know you have a live chick.
So next we're going to go over the different parts of an egg. So just like the human body, an egg has an anatomy of its own. So we're going to start with the shell. So the shell is the hard exterior of your egg that is going to protect that developing embryo inside from any kind of predators. Now, even though the shell is hard, it is porous, which just means that it has a bunch of little holes in it. If you've ever hard-boiled eggs with your grandma or your mom or somebody, you'll see that there's bubbles on the outside of the egg as it heats up. That's the air and stuff escaping that egg through those pores in the shell. So we're going to crack it open. Okay, look at that beautiful egg. Right inside, you're going to have a shell membrane. So you go from your shell to your shell membrane. And the shell membrane is just another protective layer that keeps out any kind of bacteria or other funky stuff that could cause problems with that developing chick. And then you'll have your slimy, snotty looking stuff. That's called your albumin. And so as that yolk, or as that chick is developing, that albumin is going to serve as a water source. And then everybody knows the yolk. So the yolk is the yellow part, and that's going to serve as your food source for that developing embryo. And now the cool part, like Tasha had mentioned earlier, in order to have a fertilized egg, you have to have a rooster, right? So you can tell if your egg is fertilized. You're going to find that embryo or that germ spot, and it's going to look like a bullseye, okay? So this one has the bullseye, so that means that this egg is fertilized. So if we would have put it in the incubator, if we would have left it in with the hen, it could have developed into a chick. So if you do want to incubate an egg, you're going to want to make sure that it's not a store-bought egg, because a store-bought egg is not going to be fertilized. Okay. And so back to the yolks. If you can tell, this is a yolk from a chicken from my house, and this is a yolk from a chicken from the store, okay? So this white egg here was actually a store-bought egg. And do you see the difference? One is a darker yellow and one is a lighter yellow. So there's nothing nutritionally different between these two eggs. This one's just a darker color because it's based off of what that chicken has actually eaten. So at our house, our chickens kind of go and do as they please, so they're called free-range chickens. So they can scratch through the dirt and they can get bugs and insects and things like that, which directly affects the color of their egg yolk. So if we look at this egg, you can see these little twisty white little things coming out of the sides, and that's called the chalazi, okay? And that's a cool word, so everybody should say it, chalazi. And that serves as it's kind of like a rubber band, and so it's gonna keep that yolk suspended in that middle of the egg, so every time it turns, that germ spot or that developing embryo is gonna be up at the top. So like if the chick is sitting on that egg, that germ spot is going to be up at the top right where that heat source is. So it's keeping that developing embryo warm. So if you're interested in starting your own backyard flock, you can purchase an incubator at your local farm supply store or Southern States, or you can order them straight run or as pullets. So if you decide to order them a straight run, Tasha, what exactly does that mean?
A straight run means you can either end up with males or the females.
And if you order just pullets, that just means that you're ordering females. Yeah.
When considering what you want to order for your backyard flock, you need to consider if you want egg layers, meat birds, or a dual purpose type bird. So some of your better egg layers is your leghorns. However, they are a skittish type bird, so they're not really a family type bird, but those are from the grocery store eggs that you get. Those are the breeds of chickens that those usually are. Some of your friendlier type egg layers would be your Orpingtons, your Rhode Island Reds, your sex-link type birds. Your meat type birds is going to be your Cornish, yes. And then your dual purpose type birds can also be your Orpingtons and your Rhode Islands. So if you decide to purchase the dual purpose type birds, could be your Orpingtons and your Rhode Island Reds, which is going to give you the meat and the eggs. However, they do take longer to mature to the wait to process them.
If you have any questions about starting your own backyard flock, don't hesitate to contact your local WVU Extension office.
Okay, up next, you need your lab coat and your safety goggles and your eggs. That's right, your eggs. Our friend Craig has an excellent question for you. Let's go over to Craig and see what it is.
Hi, I'm Craig Preeser, and I'm the 4-H agent with WVU Extension Service in Upshur County. I'm thankful that you're here today, and I need your help. I've got these eggs, and I boiled some of them and hard cooked them, but I forgot to mark which ones were which, and so I don't know I don't know whether they're hard boiled or raw. So we've got to find a way to determine if they're cooked or raw eggs. First off, let's take a look at the eggs themselves. We've got all sorts of different colors and shapes and sizes. We've got white eggs, which you're probably pretty familiar with. We've got brown eggs. We've got green eggs. And we've got all the different shades of brown, things like that. But you know what the important part is? All these eggs look different on the outside, but inside, where it matters, the insides are all the same, just like us. We all look different on the outside, but once you get inside, that's what counts, and that's what does the work. So, but just looking at these, I can't tell whether they're hard-boiled or raw. And so I've got a way, we're gonna work on a way to show whether they're cooked or raw. We're going to do that by spinning the egg. Inside the egg, we're going to take this one. We'll start with the green one because it's pretty colored. To tell whether it's cooked or raw, you just spin the egg. Find a tabletop or a counter, something like that. You probably want to have plenty of space. I'll tell you, I've done this more than one time, and sometimes the egg spins and it falls on the floor. Then it's easy to tell what's on the inside because it's broken. And maybe you have a mess, or maybe you just picked up a boiled egg. But have a space, a tabletop or a counter where you can work. And then we'll take one from this side, the green one, and we'll take this nice brown one here, and we'll see which one's raw and cooked. I could mix them up. See that? That was pretty fancy. I could mix them up, and I wouldn't know. Let's spin this one first. This one, the brown egg from that side. I'm having trouble getting that to spin. See that? So it's not wanting to spin, but eventually it does. And if I touch it, it wants to keep going. It stops real quick. I don't know if you can see that. Well, so it's hard to get to spin. Once it starts spinning, I can touch it, stop it, and it starts spinning again. What about that? So let's try this one. Let's try this one. Look how well that one spins. Now, is it because it's green? No. I could get this brown one and it'll do the same thing. It'll spin real easy as well. So it's not because it's green. It's because the inside of this egg is boiled. It's hard. When we boil an egg, the white or the albumin portion of the egg and also the yolk, they get hard, don't they, when we boil an egg? And so it's solid. And so it makes it easier to spin because it's all moving together. The entire egg is moving together. And if I stop it, it stops. It doesn't keep going. But this one's our raw egg. And when I try and spin that, it's hard to get that moving. Hard to get that moving. And when I do spin it, it wants to keep going a little bit. That's because the inside of this egg is liquid. The albumin, or the egg white, and the egg yolk are still liquid. And so when it's hard to get something with water in it to spin, and once it's spinning, it wants to keep spinning because it's different from the outside. The outside of the egg is solid, and it'll stop, but the inside wants to keep moving because it's a liquid. And once it's in motion, it wants to stay in motion. That's a real easy way to tell whether your eggs are raw or cooked. And so now with this side, we make a nice egg salad. And with this side, I'll probably crack a few of these, cook them up, make an omelet or a frittata, something like that. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Keep reading, keep learning, and go do big things.
How do you like your eggs? Scrambled? Fried? My choice is deviled. And speaking of deviled, we're going to learn how deviled eggs are made. Let's head over to Tim and Michael Sayer and learn more.
Hi, my name's Tim Sayer. I'm the Putnam County Extension Agent for Family and Community Development, and this is my son,
Michael Sayer.
and we're going to show you today how to make classic deviled eggs. We've washed our hands and we've got ready to cook. We've got our caps on to keep the hair out of the food, and we've got our aprons on so that we're good and clean. So let's get started. Michael, you like eggs?
Yeah,
Why?
because they're a good, quick, and a nutritious snack.
You're right, and they are a complete source of protein. What we've already done is we've boiled the eggs, brought them to a rolling boil, and then let them sit for 15 minutes. And after they've sat, we put them in a cold water bath to shock them to stop the cooking process. Now we're going to peel them, and we're going to show you how to make classic deviled eggs. Michael, get the bowl. Now here's the competition. Who can make the cleanest cracked egg? Actually, the one thing, using cold water to shock your eggs helps loosen the shells. Also, like I said, it stops the cooking process. But here's a trivia. Michael, do you want to use the freshest eggs for boiled eggs?
Yeah.
No. Actually, older eggs will peel easier. The aging process helps release the shells a little bit. So older eggs are better, not bad eggs, just a little older. Now, sometimes you get an egg that just is hard to shell, like Michael did. And that's okay. They still eat great. Don't worry about it. Also, another thing, cooking with your kid. It's a lot of fun. Michael, how often do we get to cook together? Not as much as we'd like.
Yeah.
But he cooks, he helps me with Thanksgiving dinner. He can fry his own eggs, and
Boiled them.
yeah. So, cook with your kids is a great bonding experience. How about this? Once you finish peeling the eggs, now we've got to cut them in half and take the yellows out to make the filling. Michael, you want to go ahead and start cutting them? And I'll take the fillings out. There you go. Now they don't have to be pretty to taste good. Like I just tore that one, but that's all right. Take your time, Michael. Make sure you get all the yellows out of the egg. Sometimes they stick a little bit. A little bit in there ain't gonna hurt anything, but you want to get most of it out. All right, we'll put these to the side, and then we'll make our filling. Now the filling is very easy. It takes mayonnaise, Dijon mustard, and apple vinegar. Now I like apple cider vinegar because it adds a little more flavor, and salt and pepper. So let's get these out of the way. We'll start with the mayonnaise. It's your largest component. We need half a cup of mayonnaise. Michael, if you'd hold the cup. Now, we used light mayonnaise to reduce the fat. That's one way you can make your eggs just a little healthier. Okay, half cup. Is it all out? Then 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Michael, if you'll hold that. All right, that's 1. Use the little... There we go. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Now, I have half a teaspoon there, so I'm going to hold it this time because I'm afraid I'll spill it if I pour it in there. That's half. And a whole. Now, Michael, what do you think we need to add now?
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Do the honors. Now let's mix them up. Now I always tell Michael to mix it like you live, hard. Get it all mixed up. There you go. So let's bring the eggs back over. And let's start filling them. Now you just want to fill them up as much as you can. There we go. All right, now that you've stuffed your eggs, you can have a whole bunch of other things you can put on it. Michael, what would you like to put on top of your eggs?
Bacon.
Well, get some bacon bits there. Now, what you can do, take a little bit out with a spoon as I make a bigger mess. Put some bacon on it. Once you put a few. Me, I like to put some olives on mine. But not everybody likes olives in my family. So I'll just do a couple. I also like jalapenos, but for traditionalists, the best thing you can do is put just a little bit of paprika. Alrighty, may not be the prettiest eggs, but I tell you what, I enjoyed making them with my son. Michael, why don't you try one? How are they?
Good.
Good. Okay. Well, Michael, what do you think about deviled eggs as a snack? It is the joke time.
Oh, it's excellent.
All right. Thank you very much for watching us, and we really appreciate your time. You all have a good day.
Did you have an excellent day? Hopefully we didn't scramble or fry your brain too much. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.